Hit it, Huggy.
I'm not going to interrupt you, Dan.
Yeah, you will. Welcome, listeners, to the brighter side of blue.
You're definitely testing me. Go on.
I'm sensitive.
Fuck, you take forever.
Well, I like to listen to the music.
Go ahead.
You're such a dick. Welcome, listeners, to the brighter side of blue, a broadcast about all the unbelievable things that policemen do. And you guys have done unbelievable things for us by coming out in groves, telling your people about us. Your people are now our people, and the show has taken off, Tommy, right? I'm
Tremendous.
Danny.
Unbelievable. I'm Tommy.
I'm JJ.
So tonight we're going to do a little something a little different. We're just going to kind of riff on some of our short stories that we've done. We've been recording producer John for what now, over 2 months, and tonight we're just going to do a few things of outtakes, right? Or
little short stories that we have gone over during the interviews we've done. So
yeah, some funny clips and some serious clips. And but before we get going, we have a very special guest that joined us, right, JJ?
We have Tammy back joining us. She going to give us a little insight on how it went, how the reaction was with her friends and family and Facebook friends. And she told me through a text message that she is a fan of Huggy's and his music. And I think Huggy has a message for you.
Hit it, Huggy.
Didn't have to make it like you did, but you did, but you did. And I thank you. And now I know what the fellow's talking about when they say that they didn't turn out. I wanna thank you. I wanna thank you.
That was awesome. That was
a
Huggy.
nice message, Huggy.
Another one for Huggy. Well, we have Tammy back on. Welcome, Tammy. What we have her back on for is because Tammy has a message for all the listeners.
Hey, guys. Yes. Well, as of the recording of this podcast tonight, November 16th, it happens to be the very day, 32 years ago, that I had that uninvited guest into my home. So it kind of hits different, and it's really extremely an honor to talk to you guys tonight and kind of revisit it and get my feels while I'm recording with y'all. So it's been great. And after listening to the podcast, this really little series that you guys did with Randy and me, I was actually speechless listening to it. It was just great as a whole. You guys flawlessly pulled off conveying Randy's message in his interview. It was brilliant and clear and moving. You guys are extremely sensitive and warm in your delivery. Yeah, I just couldn't get over it. It was just great. It was funny and just a great way to tell the story. Part 2 is great, and I thank you all for the great editing. And it was great. I felt safe and extremely at ease. And of course, Huggy with his music. Survivor actually made me laugh out loud. So hug Huggy for me.
We will.
That's awesome.
This has just been great. It's been a long time since I've really unearthed this. I've always been extremely comfortable talking about it, but having you guys to revisit it with has been great. And I'm just lucky to call y'all friends now.
It's awesome. This is your victory day. So let's have a little cheers
Yeah.
for Tammy.
Tammy's victory
Your
day.
victory anniversary,
Here's
32
to you,
years.
Tammy. That's
Hey,
awesome.
you know you have family in St. Louis, and now it's bigger. But it's kind of neat to see how well loved you are down in Alabama. Tommy, don't we have some?
About 13% of our viewers, or our listeners, are from your neck of the woods, and I'm sure that's because of your story. And we welcome them, and we hope they stay with us and hear some of our silly stories and some of our serious stories. And
Did you know that, Tammy? Can you believe that 13% of our listeners
I can believe it. I have such great, amazing friends and community here in northern Alabama and really all over the place. So I'm extremely lucky.
That's pretty awesome. But really, what I was getting at is, can you move to Kentucky and then, and we can start shoring up those numbers there, or no?
Yeah, we're down on Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky's a little bit slow. I mean, if you could just,
Hey, Tammy.
I'm sure.
Tammy, I got a cousin that's a big Roll Tide fan, and I mean, huge Roll Tide fan. I know you're Auburn. He says, finally, I can find a decent Auburn fan. So,
oh, that's cool.
he's like, you won him over, and he said he won't root against Auburn only when they're playing Roll Tide.
That's pretty good.
Okay, well, that's in a couple weekends, but you just tell him more Eagle for me.
Oh,
Exactly. Your story, it's just an incredible story of determination and courage.
Woman
That is just
power. Woman power.
unbelievable.
You know, it's going
Just
to be the
unbelievable
negative
story.
part about it, and I don't be negative, but it's going to be hard to top that show now. So
Oh, no, we set the bar pretty high on that.
yeah,
one.
it's peaked.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
we did.
So
That's
everything,
okay.
so that's we'd really appreciate it if you could fight off some mugger or something.
Come back
Come
on.
back on, that'd be great.
I'll try not to make that a habit. But
Yeah.
if duty calls, yeah. But hey, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for honoring me. I feel like it just feels so great. And I don't want the message to get lost to the purpose of this podcast, which is you just shining literal light on the brighter side of blue and the good side of police work that the general population rarely hears about, because this is this type of work changed my life, and more people need to hear about it.
Thanks, Tammy.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and good luck with the podcast. You guys are awesome.
This is the brighter side of blue. So one of the things we want to do is make sure that we get to our listeners some of the good stuff or the great stuff that police officers are doing. But JJ has a story that his guys did this week. So you go ahead, JJ, and let us know about the great police work that your people are doing.
Mark Setko.
I just want to give a shout out to my guys, and I want anybody else that hears this that are policemen that have stories to reach out to me. But I'm going to brag about my guys. Tuesday night, they had a car that we believe it was good for bump and runs, and Second District coppers jumped it. Second District let it go and then the helicopter was out. They picked it up, told us it was coming down. It was coming down Goodfellow. My officers could hear it coming. The helicopter was calling it out. Two of my officers got down a little east of, or south, of Natural Bridge. And when the car came through, they threw some spike strips. They deflated all four tires. The car tried to swerve around the spike strips, and they hit a curb, and they went a little bit airborne. And two officers were coming in their Tahoe across the parking lot there at Natural Bridge in Goodfellow, hit my guys head on.
Jeez.
Totaled the car, knocked them back about 20 yards. They instantly, the helicopter went out and said that they needed ambulance right away. My heart stopped. I thought, oh my God. And then one of my officers, I think it was Quincy Smith, said they're fine. They got out of the car. And what happened, the four guys hit our car. They flipped over on its roof, and my guys jumped out, the two that were hit in their car, jumped out and were able to handcuff the four subjects with the help of other mobile reserve officers as they crawled out. It's all on video. It's all of a camera that we have that's set up there. And they showed my guys who just got crushed head on, get out of the car and help handcuff the guys getting out of the car. Tampering first, and it's a good, I'm on the time clock and I'm done.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
That's not for you telling the story short. That's for your officers.
I know.
A little bit
I get
of
you.
both.
Yeah.
154.
And actually, I was really.
minute and
50, what do we got?
seconds.
Minute and 54. Oh,
Can I
my
add,
God.
can I add to that
won.
story
Yes,
now that it's over or no?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, the video was pretty cool.
All
They jumped out, and one of the officers, Zemez Harris, and Matt Gregston, they did a great job. They're the ones that hit. They went to the hospital. They were fine. They're beat up, sore, and they'll be back a few days.
So what were the bad guys
now
wanted
what's the
for?
over-under?
No, we're kidding.
What were the
Two-
bad guys? What did it turn out? What were the charges?
We had just tampering first and tampering second, but we believe they're involved in some
Explain
bumping,
what tampering first is.
stealing of a car, and if you're riding in a stolen car, you get tampering second.
Driver.
Yeah.
You the
driver got
gets
through
it first.
So it was crazy because we could see who came out one by one. We knew who the driver came out first, and all the charges were issued on them, and they were also good. We believe in the bump and runs. It's a big problem right now. They bump into cars, and then people stop and they get out. So they think they're part of that little crew.
Your guys took a licking and kept on ticking.
Oh man, they're tough. It was awesome.
I love it.
It's scary. Being a supervisor and you hear the helicopter calling for an ambulance. We don't know how bad they are, how bad they're hurt, but they got hit pretty good. I'm like, oh man. So,
Well, the crimes that they stop, because we all know that those criminals take those stolen cars and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
They don't care. They don't care if they wreck them or whatever. So
good job by your boys.
They did a good job.
Kudos to the Mobile Reserve boys, and like JJ said, we want to hear from other departments and other people. If again, you can get a hold of us at the brighter side of blue @gmail.com. We are also on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter. We're on Facebook at the brighter side of blue, and you can also find us. And you can find us on YouTube at the Brighter Side of Blue podcast. Nice. You can follow us on those, and again, we want your feedback, and we want stories like JJ just talked about from other departments. Again, we're from the city, so a lot of the initial content will be from the city, but we want this to grow and hear from other officers and the great work that they're doing too.
Producer John, where are we going
What's our
next with
first
this show?
Well, the next clip, Detective Tom Malachek was on the show, and he was invited here. He's a friend of all of ours. We all work with him. But the show before that we recorded was Chief Joe Speece, and Tom's name came up, Tom Malachek's. And Tom was lucky enough to have a lot of good jobs on the department, and he came on to rebut some of the allegations that he was a department golden child, which he was able to do, but he brought up a really poignant story of when he was the driver. He and his partner Tom Toth were the driver for then Governor Mel Carnahan. So I'm going to play that excerpt now.
Great story.
It was a very cold October night.
Yeah.
And it was nasty, and there was sleet, and then Governor Carnahan.
Sure. So,
and make it under 3 minutes.
well, that last segment was an hour and 20, and let me tell you that. So, but at any rate, so Tommy Toth and I were assigned to the governor's detail. We started in '93, and he was running against John Ashcroft for the U.S. Senate seat, and it was the race to watch in the country. And he was neck and neck, poll-wise, money-wise, and it was a hot race. So, at any rate, the governor was in town that particular day. It was an all-day deal. His last event was a fundraiser on the West End, and it had been sleeting, kind of misty all day. Nothing real bad. You could still drive around. And we went to the fundraiser. There was a gentleman, staffer by the name of Chris Sifford with us, his son, Randy, and the governor and I were at this fundraiser. So Tom took Randy and Chris Sifford to the airport. Randy was a pilot. The governor was a pilot. Randy was flying his father to the next event that evening, and he had to file a flight plan. So they left. I stayed at the fundraiser with the governor. We did our thing, and I was worried about the weather because had he not been able to fly, I was going to have to drive him to the next event, which was, in this case, down by the boot heel. We left the event. I asked the governor about the weather, and him being a pilot, he realized we should be good, and they wouldn't let us fly if the weather was that bad. So we get to the airport.
Which airport are they using, Tommy?
They were over in Sawyer.
Okay.
They called it downtown, St. Louis downtown airport. We went there, and by this time, Randy was on the plane, Chris was on the plane. I walked the governor out to the plane. We've been going 10, 12 hours every day because of this U.S. Senate race. And he gets on the plane, and he said, "Hey, Tom," he said, you guys tired? And I go, "No, we were beat." But I said, "No, we're good." He said, "Good, I'll see you in the morning. We're going to do this again." I said, "Okay, Governor." Closed the plane door. And, Tommy Toth and I went to a place on the south side at the time, a new place, got a bucket of beers and a pizza. And the protocol was I call the mansion, let the mansion know that
Governor's
governor's
mansion?
up. Governor's mansion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Governor's mansion.
The governor's mansion.
Yeah.
What mansion do you think he called?
Well, I don't know, but I just want to be clear. My mom's a little dense.
She's sleeping by now.
Yeah. Okay. Go
He'd
ahead.
have jumped on me if I said that.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I called and said we're wheels up, and the governor's headed to the boot heel, which the troopers were going to meet him down there at the boot heel. So an hour later, the mansion calls me back and said, "Where's the governor? He's not down there." I said, "Hell, he could have been there back and forth twice."
Oh, really?
So I said, "Well, hold on a minute." So the guy at the mansion, Maxie was his name, was a great old guy. He sat in the basement of the governor's mansion, Danny. And he said, "Hey, wait a minute." He said, there's a thing on the TV here that there's a plane crash in St. Louis." And I said, "Where? What's it saying?" He said, "Just St. Louis County." So I'm in the alley of this tavern, and I called St. Louis County dispatcher, and I said, "Hey, do you have a plane crash in St. Louis County?" And they said, "No, we don't, but Jefferson County does." I said, "Can you pass me through to Jefferson County?" And so they did. And the guy I got was reluctant to give any information, which I understand. I said, here's the deal. I said, "I'll give you the the tail number." And I said, "Just say yes or no." And I gave him the tail number, and he said yes.
You had it by memory?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I come back into the tavern. Tommy Toss, we got a pizza and a beer, and he goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "Come on, let's go. I'll explain the car." So we get in the car, and I told him what happened. I said, "You get on with Glenn Boyer, who was the sheriff at the time in Jefferson County," and I said, "I'm calling Chief Henderson, letting him know." We went south and 55 down in Jefferson County, and the rest is history. The next day, we had to show up for the NTSB and write memos and who had what on and that type thing. I am proud to say that the family chose both myself and Tommy Toth to be pallbearers.
Oh my God! Wow.
That's
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That was cool.
That's really cool.
President, vice president, their wives, they were all in for it. We were
Who was the
both-
president at the time, Tommy?
President Clinton.
Okay.
Yeah, and Al Gore and Tipper and Hillary, they came in for it.
That's
and
very cool.
It was one of the coolest things, special.
That's
You know,
cool.
to see.
He won the election too, right?
Well,
Or his
it
wife
was
ran.
so late that they couldn't take his name off the ballot.
Right.
So Mrs. Carnahan ended up being the U.S. Senator.
And I think, Tommy, just to talk, we know that you spent a lot of time with the Carnahans because they had family in town.
Yeah.
So they spent a lot of time, they had grandkids here, they had kids.
Yeah. So he was here, I would say, 4-5 days out of the week.
And would spend
Like
the
you
night.
said, yeah. In fact, I spoke to his daughter today, as a matter of fact. She lived in Dogtown, and he would spend the night there when he would come into town. His grandkids were here. His 2 other sons were here. Randy was the only one that did not live here in St. Louis. He lived in Rolla. They had property in Rolla.
A lot of times when you are on an assignment like that, you're not real close to the people. You just do what you're supposed
Yeah.
to do. But they were around so much that you and Tommy Toth were very close to the family.
And they treated us like family. Just a quick little example, you go to these restaurants, and of course, they know the governor's in the restaurant, right? His food comes out first, right away. Tommy and I are sitting over here, and that man would not get up. He would have his meal finished, over and done with, and he wouldn't get up until he knew Tom and I were finished eating. I could tell you story on top of story about that guy. Just a wonderful guy.
Didn't you and Tom have
and
some
if I
sick-
could just interrupt you,
Go
I
ahead.
know you're the guy on this show. But
Yeah, thanks.
I got to say, what a gentleman, what a great guy that Chris Sifford was. He could sit right here with us and he'd fit in. Just a wonderful.
And he was with
bright-
the governor that night.
He was a staff member, but
Okay.
there was 2 guys that the governor really listened to, and he was one of them.
You were the other one?
Just a wonderful guy. No, a guy named Roy.
How many people died on
Knowledgeable.
on the plane?
3, total of 3. Chris, the governor, and Randy. And then, what a shame. Mel would have been a wonderful U.S. Senator.
Oh, yeah.
The family is just, I can't say enough about him. Mrs. Carnahan still resides here in St. Louis, or now resides, I should say, here in St. Louis, and I keep in touch with them.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Out of the five governors, you were closest with them?
I was, yeah, I would say that, but I didn't even know, if I could just back up for a minute. I didn't even know we had guys assigned to the governor's detail. I was, speaking of one of my many great assignments, I was detached to DEA. I think, Joe, you were out there at one time, and Danny, you couldn't make the cut. But anyway, we
Getting promoted and
I was,
suspended.
yeah, he was getting suspended. Right there you go, JJ.
Wait a minute,
To the end of those,
I found it interesting though. He said the governor's here 4 or 5 days a week. So you actually work 4 or 5 days a week?
No, JJ, and I'm glad you brought that up. No, I'm glad. No, that's a good. That's a, no.
Well said, JJ.
You know what? Can I tell you something? Of everybody at this table, I knew you'd pick up on that. So I knew that you would pick up. So
we all knew that was a lie.
Of course, the question is, Tom, what'd you do the other time?
Right.
Yeah. Is that what you were
I
going to
was
say?
going, yeah,
You were
but
gonna say
I
that?
didn't want to get into that.
Yeah. Well, so you had to do, of course, we don't know every place and where we're going and what have you. And there was this thing called
I
advance
see where this
work.
is going.
So
Advanced
then
planning.
we had everything
Advanced
lined
planning.
up,
Reconnaissance.
including the venue, bathrooms, exit plan, entrance, the whole bit.
That's good
You know all that.
tactics. Yeah.
No, that's good.
So
That's
you should have
good.
got overtime.
So,
Oh, I'm sure he
you
did.
know what? I tried. I swear to God, I did. And I got shut down. I went to the chief's office and I said, hey, but at any rate, that's another whole deal. They said, Tom, don't push it. I go, all right, I won't.
Wow.
what.
Detective Malachek put the governor on the plane.
Yeah, that's a neat story.
Yeah, it was. I remember that night. It was nasty out.
It was.
just cold, nasty rain. I don't know if there was any sleet or whatever, but it was just nasty. So that was a bonus story because we brought him in to bust his balls about being a golden child, and then we get that.
Yeah, and we
that
all,
story.
and everybody was
We got
talking
licks
into the
in.
mics, and we all shut up while he was telling that story.
Yeah.
So that tells you it was a pretty good story.
Yeah,
We still got our licks in on him though.
yeah, he
After
deserves
that,
it.
I think Johnny, when do we have his debate coming up? Whether his crash from a golden child story?
It's coming up soon. We'll know when it's time.
Well, at the right time.
Also, it's about Tom.
I want to catch him off guard.
You can never get the best of him though. He's pretty.
no, he
pretty
is.
No,
he is a. He's a
Hall of
Fame. Pretty
wordsmith.
good.
He's a
Hall of
wordsmith.
Fame bullshitter. Hall of Fame bullshitter.
Yeah, that's good.
So true.
Good
But kind of on a serious note, we're going to use this as a segue to talk about some of, the officers in this room. Producer John, Tommy, Danny, JJ. Some of our mentors, friends, and police legends have passed away in the last. We've kind of been on a bad run in the last 10 days. Starting with Lieutenant Colonel Michael Caruso, Guido. I mean, unbelievable guy, so popular with the Blues and the police department. He's a policeman for sure. Took care of us, took care of me.
Hey, he ran the soccer team with him.
Ran the soccer team, yeah.
Yep.
For the
He was
police
awesome.
Olympics and all that, but great guy.
Also a Hall of Fame bullshitter.
True that. True that. He would have filled this room with laughter if he was on that
Absolutely.
show. Captain Stephen Jacobsmeyer.
Hall of Fame bullshitter.
He actually helped me get on the police department.
Did he really?
He made phone calls for me back when it was hard to get on.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Detective Larry Purvis.
Hall of Fame bullshitter.
He worked with you, producer John?
No, I never worked directly with him, but we were friends, and I respected him a lot. He's a very good
He's
investigator.
up there doing his fantasy leagues right now.
Yes.
Larry was a big fantasy sports player.
He was a grandfather to my good friend Jeff Stagey, and he was his stepdad, and he didn't miss his grandkids' games. Man, went to every single event, and they have lots of them.
It's awesome.
That's really cool.
good.
Sergeant, another legend, Sergeant Mike Guzzi.
Oh, first ballot Hall of Fame bullshitter.
Yeah. And after he retired, he wrote editorials for the Post, I believe.
Yeah, M.W. Guzzi.
And M.W. Jeff.
M.W. Guzzi was his pen name.
Tremendous writer, and
Yep.
I just sorry to interrupt everybody, but his daughters were affectionately known as the Gazettes. He had 4 daughters, didn't have any sons. And they kind of, what I feel, encompass the feeling of this show is that sometimes you got to take something sad and make people smile.
Yeah.
And they had a very neat, obviously one of the Gazettes had a writing ability of their father. And what I'm going to do is just give you some of the nice quotes from the Gazettes, one of the Gazettes. And so given his real life experience, his paranoia was somewhat understandable when it came to his 4 daughters. In early years, he'd come home from in quotations, a night of chasing murderers, and would try to convince the Gazettes not to go out trick-or-treating in fear of satanic worshipers. He'd also let their potential suitors know that no one would miss him should his daughters not be home by curfew. He would also throw his hands in the air in disgust at the credit card bill featuring a purchase from Victoria's Secrets. Despite being as cuddly as running into a cactus face first, he could always get a laugh and hold court in a crowd. It's from the Gazettes, and that just kind of puts a nice spin on the very, very sad fact that their father passed away.
And that was in the actual obituary.
That was in the
Yeah, that was.
obituary.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And we've all seen portions of that in Mike Guzzi as we've all know him in different ways. And, and then the last one today, it's the 30th, this Saturday is the 30th anniversary of Skippy Steve Strail's death. Died doing some DEA work in a helicopter.
Absolutely.
And I remember that day as well.
Matter of fact, they're having a little get-together for him. His son, Joseph, is a county police officer, and they're having a little memorial of life on this Saturday, November the 18th. 30 years. Wow. Seems like it was yesterday. Actually, his oldest son also goes by Skip, Stephen. Younger son is Sean. Joe is in the middle there, and he's a county police officer, and wife Kathy, still good friends with the family, and 30 years.
30 years.
Seems like yesterday.
Goes by in a blink.
Yeah, we just want to mention a couple of those because they are all important to people in this room.
Absolutely.
They're
They're dear friends of
mentors
ours.
and friends. Yep.
The dear friends of ours, and many laughs along the way with them,
Yep.
and keep them in our minds and our memories as we go. What else we got, John? What's next?
Producer John, what do we have next? I think we have another legend coming up next week. Producer John?
Retired Major Harry Hager, who we all know and work with at some point. Harry's just one of the more impressive people I've ever worked with, and plus his police career, his military career in Vietnam. He was gracious enough to spend a couple hours with us and tell stories about both careers, mainly police, but I think the highlight story that most people may be familiar with is a serial killer in St. Louis named Maury Travis. And Harry was instrumental. He was in crimes against persons at the time, had a homicide. And he and his crew, along with some of the muni coppers, kind of put it together that all these bodies they were finding were related and that they had a serial killer on their hands. So it was
Pretty gnarly at times.
Yeah, very gnarly.
Needs to have
he gets into some detail, and it was Travis was a pretty nasty character. So stay tuned for that one.
That's going to be a good one.
Yes, sir.
And if you have you need to actually warn people of how graphic it is. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
there's a
not for the
couple
faint.
mentions of
It's pretty brutal.
pretty
so.
graphic stuff in there.
Yeah, once again, we bring things that people haven't heard before.
Right.
Little nuggets that,
A little bit here and there.
Yep.
A little bit here and there.
hey, and now.
You know. Anyway, what do we got? The next story. That's not funny to most people.
Producer John, what do you have for us next?
Well, we have a story, and as the only person here, we all know Tom well.
Today's Tom Sawyer.
Today's Tom Sawyer, but I'm the only one that had to actually directly supervise him. So this story does not surprise me at all. And it's an example of Tom's idea of chain of evidence on
Or lack thereof.
or lack thereof.
This ought to be good.
I get a call for a recovered article in the 3rd District.
Oh, this
I'm right.
this was the deal.
Total Sawyer, too. This is a total
So-
Sawyerism.
Yeah.
I get to the call, they give me some purse that's got shit in it, nothing in it. They found it in the dumpster. It's got like a Blockbuster card that's got the one address on it. It's an old, shitty purse that somebody just threw away. I go by the address on the thing. It's 2835 McNair.
Gucci.
Yeah, there was no way this was it because everybody. Oh, well, it could have been a victim. It could have been a victim of a crime, and they just threw it in the dumpster. Oh no, this is somebody that was getting rid of the purse, put it in, and then somebody else goes to take their trash out, sees the purse, and decides, oh, this must be a robbery or something. So they call the police, and then I get the call.
That's some bullshit.
Then I get to the call, and I look at this purse, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So, there, like I said, there's one address on it. It was 28. I'll never forget the address because it turned into a shit show. 2835 McNair. So I went to buy the house. Nothing. There's nobody there. The thing was thrown away.
You did your due diligence, if you ask me.
Exactly. I did above and beyond what most people
That's
would do.
absolutely.
Sounds like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
but you got to code every call. So I'm not drawing a number and writing a recovered article because I don't like writing reports from the
Plus, you're
get-go.
getting off soon, and you got to go get
I'm
a drink.
definitely not writing this old ass, shitty ass purse getting recovered.
5858 purse.
So,
Exactly.
but so I coded it at 95, which means there's no incident.
No criminal incident.
Right. But I don't do anything with the purse throughout the day. This was in the morning. I put it in the back seat. I just throw it in the back seat because, I'd try by again. I never tried again. I went by there one time. I didn't try again. So then it comes relief time, and, in relief time, you got to clean your car out, and there's that purse. I had purchased the morning paper, and the paper was back there also. So I decided to wrap up the purse in the paper, and I threw that away in the back of the dumpster of the Area 1 station. Well, you'd think, that's no big
That's the
deal.
end of it.
How could that be?
Yeah, that's the end of it.
Well, that night, or that day, the Iran Gulf War kicks off, and the police station gets a bomb threat. So they go out.
Couldn't it be
So
the
they do
next
a-
day where the
so they do-
dumpster, we clear the dumpster out?
So they're walking around and doing their little cursory search to make sure there's no bombs. And there's the paper something wrapped up in the morning newspaper. Not only do they think that might be a bomb, they call in the entire bomb unit. They got robots out here.
Are you?
They got
I didn't know
people.
this.
They got people in suits. This thing took 5 fucking hours. They got the robot went up to the thing and
And where are you, Tommy? Are you
kidding me?
I'm at home. I'm
You're at
chilling.
home?
I don't no idea this is going on. I'm,
Right,
like,
right.
I'm probably boozing.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it was the night that the war kicked off. I was at
Shock and awe.
Hilltop?
I'm at the Hilltop. I'm at the Hilltop. And a couple days, a day goes by. It wasn't the next day, but it was the following day because they had, I guess they traced this call back because they were fired up. They spent $100,000 on a fucking
Manpower,
equipment with manpower and equipment,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what was in this newspaper. So they're mad as a motherfucker. So I get the call, and it's from George Cloves, who's been mentioned on here before. And he's like, "Hey, what's up? Did you recover a purse?" And my heart sank. I was like,
He's a
how
dude,
could
man.
this?
George
How
Clooney.
could this come back on me?
Yeah.
This, of all things that I've done over my year, this, they were mad at. I'm telling you, they were mad. I ended up getting reduction to probe status.
Oh, are you
Oh,
kidding
really?
me?
They were mad. I'm telling you, they were mad. Even my attorney's like, "Hey, man, they're mad." My attorney came and said, "Dude, these motherfuckers are mad." I was like, "All right, I don't know what to tell them. I threw the thing away."
I'm just speechless of what I just heard. But for our listeners and those in London that don't know, that at the time that Tommy did this, he was in the Area 1 station. And people don't know this, but that housed 1/3 of the city of St. Louis's policemen and all the administrators and all the clerks and the prisoners, and they had to clear it out. They had to evacuate the building because Tommy.
When I'm telling you they were mad, Stacey,
I can't believe you ever got a good job after that. You went to
it was,
DEA.
it was a mistake. Come on, man. I'm throwing away a purse. I mean, come on.
I get it.
I'm not saying that it was the correct thing to do, but I'm also not saying that anybody else ain't done it.
Hey,
It was some bad luck, though.
what made me
That's
nervous
bad luck.
is when you mentioned George Klobes. That dude was no joke. I loved him to death, but man, he was one intimidating lieutenant, man.
Yes, he was.
He'd be the last
He was
guy I
awesome.
wanted to make mad.
He wasn't mad. No, he thought it was funny.
Oh, good.
No,
Good.
he was just a delivery of. He was just delivering the news that they're mad at you. Yeah, he thought it was humorous. He's like, "Did you throw this purse away?" And I was like, "Yeah, oh, they're mad."
Yeah,
He was a deliverer that they're mad. He wasn't. It
dude.
didn't make him
the
no
men
different.
he supervised loved him, and
yeah.
I got he supervised me towards the end of his
The
career.
real police.
He was, man. But his third district guys.
Yeah.
He walked on water for them guys. I'll tell you that.
You know, if this was a one-off thing in your career, I would understand it as bad luck. But I don't feel like you learned anything from this.
I just
I had a. Well,
he put a damn good career for.
He did, but he
I did some good stuff too. It wasn't like I did all knuckleheaded shit.
No, you did some good stuff.
You-
But you had your more of these type things than just that.
Hey, Dan, what you do is you send Tom out to find the bad guy and get him in cuffs, and then you send him home. Because he's not going to package you evidence. He's not going to write a report. He's not going to do any other shit you need to do to get a conviction. So you always have to have somebody with him to handle all the details.
Well said,
That is
producer
well
John. That's what I was trying to get at.
You can take that.
You
I
had a
guess
skill
I'll have to
set.
take that one.
Right.
You had a skill set.
I'll take that.
But writing reports,
Not a
attention
forte.
to detail.
Not a forte.
No. Do you have a problem with attention span?
A tad, but I'm medicated, so that helped me out after I was retired.
Now he's really medicated.
Medicated, like self-medicated, like you're high.
However, if
It's a HIPAA
I'm
violation.
just going to throw this out there.
It's legal now.
Right. I'm just going to throw this out there. All these short stories of this great police work going on and this crazy shit going on in the city. None of them stories will start with this dude was all hopped up on weed.
No, they won't. That's true.
I did a search warrant back in the day, and we kicked the door in, and the guy was playing one of the video games, like one of those games you guys play. We shoot 'em up. Call of Duty. He was high as he could be, and he looked at us, and he's like, "Wow, man!" And I like, "Dude, you just thought this video game came to life." He goes, "Yeah, I did." He thought it was so
was
cool.
no problem.
And we just kicked his door in for
3D.
for a bunch of weed. I felt bad. It wasn't
So
my
what
case.
I'm saying, though, it's not for everybody,
No, but he was
but
cool.
it has advantages.
He was one laid back.
It does. That's why it's
all right.
legal. That's
Prisoner.
why it's legal now.
Now. And you just come in a pissy mood, and then we got to try to run a show.
What's the problem, Dan?
What's the problem? What happened?
You okay?
Well, I was going to leave it alone. Tell you the truth.
I know what it
I
is.
wasn't going to bring my
Can I
burdens.
guess what it is?
Go ahead.
You're back in St. Louis. You just left fucking Naples.
No. No. Well, okay.
Oh, I know. I know it is.
A portion
I know
of
it
it's
is.
correct.
You didn't test as good as you thought in the pickleball.
No,
Your
no.
rating was bad.
Oh, that
No,
could be.
that would have hurt. That would have hurt my feelings. No, actually, I was going to leave it alone. But you notice I'm wearing a hat on the show,
So
even though it's one of our brighter side of blue hats, which we love. And
You're not a hat wearer?
But usually I don't cover this mug. You know, with
got a bad haircut.
I got. I had a ton of errands to run today. A whole list.
So you went to Supercuts or something.
No, I'm not going to name any names of a super chain of places to get a haircut. But it was my 8 a.m. I was so efficient. They opened at 8. I got there at 8. And I want a haircut. That's what I want at 8.
You got
Because it's the haircut is one of 9 things on my list. So I get there and I sit down in a chair. I'm the first one there. I sit down. She starts getting the scissors sharpened and says, "So what do you have planned today?" I said, "Just a bunch of errands." "Oh, really? What do you got?" I go, "Well, really, just the haircut. The haircut."
Do you know this person?
I do not know this person. I do not know this person.
I'm just clearing that up.
Just right now, and I tell her I like my haircut, so you can't even tell I had a haircut. And then I also want my brows
You look good.
cut
Your brows.
because I can't stand those big bushy brows. She's constantly
Try to
talking.
be nice.
No, I don't
You're-
need.
you're-
Do you go? Is that where you go to be nice to? You go
She
to
was
get hair-
intimidated by
I'm
Danny.
just trying to be the devil's
She was
advocate,
intimidated by your good looks, your handsomely good looks.
Well, she took care of that. She knocked that out of the park. Asked me about all my errands, want to know what I have next, this, that, and the other thing. Let me ask you this, JJ. When you go to McDonald's, hey, can I get the Big Mac and a large Diet Coke? And then they say, do you want fries? And also, what do you got today?
That's a terrible analogy because you know what? I was in the hair business before I became a cop.
Are you
And
serious?
You remember the 55-gallon
Yes.
drums of?
Oh, that's right.
Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah,
Joe.
say. That's what they're trained to do. They they want to get to know you, and so they want repeat customers. So they
It's a
want
6-minute
they take
haircut.
notes and they'll write shit down like Danny likes to play golf or Danny likes to smoke weed, and so they'll write that down on your little card. So when you come in like 6 weeks later, 4 weeks later, they're like, "Hey, so how's your golf game?" You know, that's what they're trained to do. So
you know
give
what?
her,
So
give her a break, dude.
I'm gonna give JJ a break here. That I love that. But then you know what you have to also do? If you're going
read
to
your
run your
people?
mouth, no.
Read
If you're going to run your mouth and ask me about all my errands, you know what you have to do? The most important thing to do?
Do a good
Give me a
job.
good haircut.
Yeah.
I got 7 different lengths going right now.
I was kind of looking in the back. It looks kind of butchy. It looks like
The whole thing's messed up, and so you asked why I was in a bad mood. Just cut my hair.
Danny, you're retired, you're married, and you also have hats
Yeah,
to
I
wear.
think
So
you
what's
did.
the big deal?
I think
would
you had
lighten up.
this a crabby ass moment.
Right.
No, you need, to lighten,
Francis.
you need to lighten the fuck up.
Lighten
You
up,
guys
Francis.
swing by. You guys go by your haircut place just to shoot the shit. You guys just love that.
I was actually already there when you got there, and I was talking to the stylist at the next station, and I overheard your conversation with the lady,
But this whole place sucks.
and then he stormed out. I was wondering what was up with that. I meant to call
That about
you.
covers it.
That's exactly what covered.
So
but
that made
guys-
you a bad mood all fucking day, all the way till 6 o'clock tonight?
Hey,
Exactly. Why do I
Jay,
gotta take it out on
I'm
us?
thinking your wife yelled
I
at you or
just-
something.
Don't you don't
She
care.
was just trying to be
You're
nice,
kind of a
dude.
jerk. Who do you think you are, Bigfoot?
Oh hell no.
Hey. that threw me
She would have
off.
earned her money giving me a Bigfoot a haircut.
So
Yeah,
no,
see,
let's
get some
make
shears
this
out, like
let's
the
make this the
long
Danny
shears.
interrogation show. So you were all worried last week that you were getting rated for your pickleball. How did you? Can you want to talk about it, or you don't want to talk about it?
Well, I can tell you that this was not the official.
You had a bad day.
No, I didn't. I had a great day. But you have to understand that they brought a pro in to rate the people from numerous communities that are going to participate in a league. This is not the U.S. Open rating that I'm going to get on next Saturday, November 25th.
Good luck.
If you score a rating of 4.0 or above in this community league, you can't play in it because they want it to be for everybody in this thing.
Equal.
No,
So
you're not a.
so
you're a
over-
sandbagger.
No, he
Well,
can't
they
play
asked me to
because
sandbag back
he's
up
too
and do
good.
it. I couldn't
He's
do
too
it.
good.
He's too good to play in the league, so he had a sandbag.
No,
to
they
get-
sandbagged me. They sandbagged.
This is
it.
pickleball scandal.
Do you ever,
I hope it doesn't
hey,
reach
do you
that
ever-
level, but it could be.
This could be a pickleball scandal.
Yeah.
Had my first violent encounter on a pickleball court down in Naples.
That does not surprise me, though. You were the most competitive.
I know, but I wasn't. I was on the opposing team. I was a witness.
How old was she?
Hey, you know what I love about pickleball? One of my teammates at this, I went and played some open play. 82-year-old woman, and she was unbelievable.
That's awesome.
We beat 2 dudes.
That's cool.
We beat them.
So let's get back to the violent encounter. Who was
Right, what
this
happened?
dude?
Yeah.
Of course, not playing pickleball.
This just happened 2 days ago.
Uh-oh. Another
Some
one?
youngster playing with all us old guys.
Oh,
and
this was on court?
on the court.
The last one you had, the last little ruckus you had was just a disturbance over, like, whose court it was.
Exactly.
That's-
No.
that's
This
time.
was on the court. We were playing.
When he says a youngster, he means a 79-year-old.
No, he was younger than us. He was the youngest guy on the court, and he was good, but he told everybody how good he was. And he lost his temper, started threatening the life of his partner right on the court.
You shit me?
Yeah, and said, I started using,
needs to
calling
smoke
them
some weed.
names. And it was very ugly.
That's the way.
He did not.
And then what did he get mad about, though?
He got mad because his partner kept lifting the ball. And what that means, you give high lobs to the opposing team, and
And they crush him?
you crush them.
Okay.
But I can assure you that nobody tries to lift the ball because it's not fun having balls crushed at you.
So the violent encounter was between him and his partner.
His own partner.
Oh, I thought they were you guys argued like over
No,
whether the ball was in or out.
We were on our side, just minding our business. He was screaming at his own partner.
Complete pickleball.
Well, it's no fun when your partner lifts your balls either.
Oh, jeez. But pickleball's taking over the world. Pickleball's taking over the
Where are we
world.
resorting to? We're talking about fucking pickleball now. We're getting. Let me clear this. I want this to be cleared up. So you rated too high for the league that you.
No, they rated me in line with it.
Oh,
They
that's
they rated me like a 3.85. No, I wasn't.
Okay. Well, one of the times not too long ago, Danny had the yips. He couldn't serve, so and I don't know nothing about pickleball. And
pickleball.
But you know
or
Steve
tennis?
Sachs.
right, but I know about the yips, right? So, and Danny, we talk a lot.
Wait a minute, you
obviously.
get the fucking yips in pickleball?
100%.
So he couldn't serve.
Yeah,
He
you're
couldn't get it
fucking
in, and it was tearing him.
That's what she
I've
said.
never seen the dude. He's raised 2 children to be great children, and you know there's some bumps along the way. And he never discussed those. But every time we talk, man, I can't get rid of this. I keep serving it out of.
Now
it
you
was
got you're
tearing
getting,
him up.
You're getting in his head right now.
No. I've shaken him.
So-
but JJ, let me tell you what he's talking about. I was down in Naples in in 2 games, and during the course of 2 games, I did not serve in 1 time.
That's almost impossible.
That's what they were saying down there. They're like, what the hell's going on? I didn't serve in 1 time.
I mean, it's like a little. You can just. What the fuck?
Not even 1 time.
I never played pickleball, but I think.
Trust me.
Well, now we know whose partner got threatened with death.
So the guy threatened you, huh? Who was that?
It was you.
Who was that dude threatening you?
That was your violent encounter. Now we get it.
You all right?
Now, let's set this whole thing up.
All right, go ahead, bitch.
Let's see what you can do.
So this coming Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, we are going to have the annual Guns and Hoses. That obviously they give all their money to fallen firefighters and policemen,
Backstoppers.
backstoppers.
It's been called backstoppers for a long time.
Right, sorry. But anyway, go down there and get your tickets. Danny, you did it.
I
at
fought
one
in
time,
2000. Yeah, I'm 1-0.
I thought about it, and then I laid down, and then the thought went away.
Actually, me and producer John were in the internal affairs division, and they were short on the age range between 35 and 40 fighters. And now all the fighters have already been training for like 3 months, but that age group they were void of fighters. So me and producer John went over and said, we'll do it. And we actually trained, and they expedited our training. And I ended up getting a fight. Producer John didn't, just
Did you
because, and I won.
Look at you.
That's
Yeah,
because
I
I heard
won.
John's nickname was One Punch, though.
Yeah, 1 punch. Yeah.
So he grew up.
Yeah, one punch and then hit the mat. No, a funny story is and Dan and I usually didn't spar all the time. Sometimes we did. But you got nailed in the ribs on one of the sparring, and Dan, you probably had broken ribs or something close to it, and we were sparring one day, and I think Dan set it up with probably Randy, and we were sparring, and Dan's like, please, please, please don't hit me in the ribs. I can't take it, so I said, all right, I'm trying to be a good friend. So he would throw a jab, and then I couldn't hit him in the ribs, so I'd throw a punch toward his head. Well, he knew it was coming toward his head, so he just moved, and then he counterpunched me. And it happened like 5 times in a row. And it's like, well, I can't fight this guy, if I can only hit him in the face, and he knows I'm trying to hit him in the face. So I hit him in the ribs.
I bloodied your nose.
But I know you
Yeah,
guys
my-
grew up together, but he was a tough guy, and he was a little older than you.
Yeah.
And were you
And it was a lot bigger than me.
right? Was it was it you nervous boxing with him, or
No,
you were
Dan
just
was
glad
a
to
much
get even?
better
Because I know he
No.
kind of picked on you guys a little bit. He didn't pick on you, but you guys were afraid of him back in the day.
Boxing's a thing in the ring that I'm quicker than producer John, and if it ever could go into a
MMA?
wrestling or anything, I would be dead. He'd squish me. He would just choke me.
Yeah, if I could have got my hands on him and
I'd be dead.
thrown him against the wall,
He ripped his ears off.
That was reserved for another friend.
Go to the Guns and Hoses.
I love it. It's my favorite. I love that night. It's my favorite night.
Let's go.
It ruins my Thanksgiving every year, but
Back to blue, baby.
yeah.
And the red.
Back to blue and the red.
And the red.
Policemen and firemen.
what a great cause.
Absolutely.
And I'm
We
done.
talked about tonight on this show about Skippy Steve Strail dying 30 years ago in the line of duty. Who do you think took care of his family, his kids, his wife, their schooling, the housing?
Jerry Layshaw.
No, backstoppers.
Oh, yeah. Well, fuck yeah.
Hey, by the way, Tommy, did you just
Did you
hear
cut
JJ?
that out?
Did you?
I didn't mean like
Is
that.
there
I thought you
any
meant,
way-
like, watched out for him? Like,
That's
what's going
not being cut out. That is
No.
that is so
Oh,
going in.
yes, he was talking about bills and shit. You're like, hey,
I was texting, motherfucker. I'm getting texted.
I mean, are you serious? I can't wait. We're gonna play that for Layshock. Layshock,
Jerry Layshock.
Don't even think about that.
billionaire
I quit.
Layshock.
I'm quitting right now. This is my last podcast. You guys suck. I was fucking texting. I thought you were getting more sentimental. Like we talked about Layshock, like because he was good friends with me. He took care of the family. Yeah, he was gonna look out for him, motherfuckers.
Hey, backstoppers, keep your money. Yeah, I got you.
Lakeshaw's got this one.
You got. Yeah, that was kind of dumb, but hey.
Dude, I'm getting a cramp.
I don't. This will never make a podcast where I quit.
So who do you think paid
got-
for it?
I got
The
things
Guns
to
and Hoses. Who do you think paid for it? Layshock.
All right, motherfucker.
That does some funny shit.
No, fuck. I got fucking.
Make me
I
cry.
got my
Sorry, that made me cry.
Oh my God, JJ.
JJism.
That was a JJ-ism.
Sweating shit. We're going next with this fucking podcast.
Home.
That was
Yeah, we're wrapping up. What's
Peace.
up?
I don't think we can top that one.
No.
that was pretty funny shit.
How do I get into there? Oh, it's Tuesday.
Hit it, Huggy.
I don't like half the folks I love. My alcoholic buddies are fun to hang around. When we drink together, peace and joy abound. But sometimes they bring me one more shot when they know I've had enough. I don't like half the folks I love. God knows they're all dear to me, but if the truth be told,